so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so last night, yesterday afternoon, I should say, Axel and I went fishing and broke off a couple rigs. So I figured I'd tie some more before we go again. And thought I'd start off with a funny. And let me go get everything set up on my tablet so we can all have a good time together. No, that's not what I want. Come back here. Seems like it should just start like this, but it doesn't. Okay, so start off with my funny. I ordered some of these 9KM Outdoors or DW Life, who makes them, whatever. I don't remember what size they were. I would say I probably ordered 12-aught, but I might have gone a little bigger. Anyway, that. How do I? Here we go. Let me grab my life savings over here. It's a quarter. I'll give you an idea here. Well, yeah, I mean, the quarter even goes all the way, well, almost all the way through where the points back in. So these are a like a kale style circle hook, and the eye is, well, it's the eye of the tiger. We'll put it like that. The problem is that they're offset, so I can't use them in saltwater for sharks because that would seem to be the logical place to put them. But yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I don't even remember when I got them, but they were just going through my hooks, and there we go. So again, broke off some stuff yesterday. Need to make some more. So what we're gonna do is we'll start off with our 80-pound mono. I'm gonna go ahead and make a quick double hook rig. And grab over here in my pile of swivels. So we're going to start this off. And these are catfish rigs for anybody that doesn't know. Hello, Stephen. Welcome in. You are first. That doesn't get you anything other than love, admiration, and gratitude, which is, I mean, let's be fair, far more than any of us deserve in this world. Okay, so I'm going to start off by tying a trilene knot at the top of this shindig. Again, this is 80-pound mono. We're going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to add a 6th strap just for giggles because I've had a couple of trilene knots pull free on 40-pound with only 5 wraps, so we'll go with 6. There we go. And grab this end with a rig puller. And then use this little guy that I got off of Amazon a while back. I really enjoy it. And what it does is just allows me to wrap around the lines because I don't have a hook or anything to tie it to. Now, we're going to pull. And pull we did. So, there's that. One day I'm going to test the strength of my own pull because I don't think it's strong enough. This is, Anyway, we gave her a good tug though. No comments necessary. We'll let that one ride, folks. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tag in. I left it a little long. I'm going to shove it back through that swivel if I can. Yeah, that way you probably can't see it, but if you could, see the tag in coming up here, and it's really not going to snag on anything because it's kind of in with the hook there, or in with the swivel, I should say. Okay, so I'm going to come down about that far. Big number. The one piece is real. Well, lots of pieces are real. Unless it's conspiracy theory. The one piece is real. Are you wanting to see me in a one-piece bikini? Because nobody wants to see me in a two-piece. That's for damn sure. So here we're going to go ahead. We're just going to double our line over. Go around itself like we're making a regular overhand knot. And we're going to do that. We're going to take that loop, put it through there twice. and then for giggles, because it's funny, 3 times. We'll take our little rig puller here. And this loop does not need to be big at all. So on the one end, on the other end, or both ends, then pull on each end individually. And that gives us a triple surgeon loop. You'd subscribe to me in one piece. Thank you, Marcus. Fishing is real, Elizabeth. I didn't know there was a question. Fishing has always been real. And sometimes you want to keep it real. Okay, so what I've done there is once I kind of got it tight one way, I went ahead and pulled the standing end and the tag end against each other to kind of tighten it up some more, and then pulled once more on the loop. Now we're going to go down, and it was really nice when the numbers were still on this little ruler I've got here at the edge. So we're going to go down about 10 inches. We're going to make another loop. Again, we just double the line over, roll it around itself like you do an overhand knot, and we're going to take that through 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And this is going to look like a kind of a variation of a double hook rig for like Kentucky rig, or pompano rig if you fish saltwater, or I don't know where else we can call it something else, but you know, there you go. Okay, so we pulled against both lines, then each line individually, and now we're going to pull away from each other to kind of set this knot as much as we can. Marcus, it turns out not a robot. I have the voice for a robot and a face for radio, but not a robot. Hey, River Cats Tackle. Hey, Lance Makugai. How you doing? The man with the greatest name in the whole wide world. Last name. You got to have a last name. Makugai. Because that's Makugai. Yeah, so. And as luck would have it, you're here just the right time, John. John, River Cats Tackle, that's John. He makes, that's going to blow your mind. He owns a company called River Cats Tackle. And he sent me some hooks, and I've been testing them. And if you want to see those videos, well, they're on my channel because that's fun. If this is real for the pinger, Marcus, how many fingers do you think I'm going to stick up my nose at one time? I mean, there's a lot. If I were real, I would know this. So let me help you out here. Let's see. What does this one do? Yep, that makes. So see, if I weren't real, it'd be. You really want to see my finger up my nose? Well, hey, whatever floats your boat, there, skipper. So at the end, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to do the same thing we did, except there's no reason to do a triple surgeon's knot. We'll just do a double, which is actually just a surgeon's loop. So we go through there twice. And this one is just for the bottom of the rig. And it is so we can put a lighter weight line there to go down to our sinker. And the reason we want that is if the most likely part of the rig that's going to get hung up on the bottom and get stuck and you have to break off, it's going to be the sinker. So, having said that, ooh, look, line everywhere. Take some 30-pound trilene big game. So I'm making this out of 80-pound mono for the main line, the main part of the leader. I'm going to show you in a minute. We'll be using 40-pound for the snoods. We'll use 30-pound down bottom for a sinker. So we're just going to, again, double the line over. We're going to make a much larger loop here at the bottom and run that through twice. The second time just keeps it from slipping. Hey, Palmetto Cats, good to see you. Hey, Fishing with Big Mike. Man, I'm getting the good guy. I'm getting the heavy hitters in here today. Palmetto Cats, that's Kevin. He runs a channel out of North Carolina area. Big Mike is out of East Tennessee. He also has a fishing channel. Both these guys fish for cats and other stuff. Palmetto makes a... He is the man behind Fat Boy Rigs. You want to check that out? I think it's fatboyrigs.com. com. If not, let me know and we'll get our, yeah, I'll figure out which end's my head and which end's the other end, and then together we will all know. Oh, it takes me a minute to get this tied. It shouldn't. It's just that it's such a small knot. Okay, so we've got this double surgeon's, actually it's just a surgeon's loop. It's not a double surgeon's loop. A double loop knot like that is a surgeon's loop. So, got the tag end off there. So at the very bottom of our rig, we talked about have this surgeon's loop. So I'll put this one over the larger one. So I'm just taking one loop over the other one. And then I'll take the big loop and come back through the 80-pound loop. What that does is basically it creates what affectionately looks like a square knot. Okay, so this bottom end is where we're going to put our sinker through, and for once in my life I don't have a sinker on here, but I will grab a swivel. I'll show you what we do. We just put it through the eye of the swivel, then put the swivel through here, which again we'd use the weight through there, makes a cow hitch knot, pull it tight, and you can also reverse that if you want. And to make it even easier, if you want to, at the very end of this, you could put another little bitty knot. You don't even have to double it over. Just go through it once like an overhand knot. And what that little loop does for you, so again, we'll slide it on there, and then ignore the little loop at the bottom. We're going to slide up, put the weight through, like so. And then if you want to change it, this little loop, pulling it, and then it makes it much easier to get everything reset and pulled back out. And let's see. I tell you that, and then I'm trying to remember what I've got to do here. Yeah, there we go. Pull this open. Oh, sorry. I already undid the cow hitch knot. No, I didn't. Okay. Pull it through there. There we go. And now it slides back off. It's magic, I tell you. It's magic. It's been a while since I do that. So, now we got the, again, going back from the top. Let's see. Head to Virginia from Cat. There you go. Appreciate you. Anytime, my friend. Anytime. So, up top, again, we've got our swivel that's going to be tied to our main line. We got our two little loops here. So, on our two little loops, we're going to take our 40-pound Suffolk Superior. You don't have to use Suffolk Superior. You can use whatever brand you like because it's Marca. You try the big game, whatever. And this one, like I said, John, even I already wrote it up. It's 40-pound or 80-pound mainline. 40-pound is the Snoots 12-aught River Cat Tackle. It's going to be a double hook rig. So I put these on these little poly bags. I get the 4 mil. Don't get the 2 mil. Trust me. Been there, done that. Now the 4 mil is not going to keep the hooks from penetrating and the bag, but it'll do a lot closer than a 2 mil. So I've got two of these 12-aught River Cat tackle hooks, and I'll show you that. Again, I showed these at the beginning of the video just because I think they're funny. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what size I thought they were when I get them. This is a 12-aught River Cat tackle against whatever size hook this thing is. Yeah. So you can see, I mean, this I don't know what I got these for. I don't know what I was thinking. If they were at least in line, then I would think I could use them in saltwater. I don't know what I was thinking. Hey, certified fishing nut. Good to see you. Good to see. Yeah, fishing flames. I don't know. I mean, maybe I was trying to catch a cute woman. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just going to tell you, it was nutty. Okay, so I'm going to tell everybody a secret. It's not a secret. It's just science. When you tie the no-knot snell, or in this case, when you tie the egg loop knot, we always said you have to have the standing end and the tag end free. You don't have to have the tag end free. So this goes back to the spool. And the reason I do that is so I can slide this down as far as I want and not have to cut off too much line. And that looks like an amount of line. Yeah, they're the big old hooks. So again, we're still attached here at the back end. Doesn't matter. So you hold your tag in back here, and then we'll wrap this around. And you want to wrap around the solid side. So when your hook comes around, it's one piece of wire. Kind comes around. You don't want to get where it comes back and points around. You want to get on the part that's not sharp. So we're going to go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then just kind of hold this off to the side. If you were doing a no-knot snell, you would just run this all the way back through, tighten it up, and you'd be done. But I'm not. I'm going to do an egg loop knot. So run this through about an inch or so, and then hold that piece back against the shank of the hook as well. I take the part that I've been wrapping, I go around 4 more times. 2, 3, 4. And what that does for you is it captures the standing end of the line. That's the part that goes back to your rig. And so if it pushes through, it doesn't loosen up like a no-knot snell can. And if you were really making this for the purpose of the egg loop, you would run it down several more times so that you can get a bigger loop. You could also use this for chicken liver, etc. But I'm using it this way just to lock in the no-knot snell. And then you can, once we pull it tight, there we go. And you can cut this short. You don't need a long tag end. So there you go. Hey, Susie, what did we learn today? We're learning all about how to tie rigs for fun and giggles, and it will actually make you a better boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. That's what it is. The other person from, if you're asking where I'm from Memphis, Tennessee area, out in the suburbs. So we've got our line on here. This is our standing end. We double it over. Now we're going to just create another surgeon's loop. So we're going to do 3 times instead of 2. So you run the loop back through. This is just like an overhand knot, except you've got the doubled over line. You're doing it. And we're going to go through a 3rd time. I've found that that's just a little bit stronger than doing it twice. And I will use my rig puller to grab hold of that a little better. And if you don't know, you're supposed to kiss your line because it makes things better. Always want to kiss your line. So here we go. We're just going to pull. We're setting the knot that we just made because we'd already set the egg loop knot. So whether you want to do this at the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter. You meant steam. Okay, let's see. Hey, Andrea, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. The other stream told me to have a great day. What do you want me to do? Tell the next person from the next... Tell the person on the next train to say, have a wonderful day. So, again, you can do this a multitude of ways. I just like doing it this way. You could just run through here and then run your hook back through its own eye. But I like to put the 40 pound over the 80 pound and then come back through the bottom because we went over the top. I'll show you this as we go a little bit. We'll pull this. So what we've got here, and that's just going to make them come together like a double loop like a square knot would. And there you go. And if I've done this right, yes, I have. I love it when that works out. That you want this snood, leader, whatever, not to be as long as the place that you're going to tie your next hook on. Now, again, this looks a lot like a Kentucky rig, except that I'm using these smaller knots, and you don't have the doubled over line coming all the way out from that T-knot. I like it this way. I could tie a honest-to-goodness snell knot or with all the wraps I want, not have to worry about the line getting cut, any of that kind of stuff. So again, we're going to come through the back, and this is, again, tied on. Easier said than done. Still tied on the spool. I'm going to go down a little bit further because of what I said about that egg loop knot. So in this case, we go 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Normally you could stop at about 8 or so. You can go as far as you want. So I'm just going to go down a bunch more because, oh my goodness, it seems like fun. Okay. We're going to do the same thing we did earlier. Slide it back. Slide the standing end back through the eye from the back of the eye, and we'll do 4 more wrap. Whoops, going the wrong way. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we pull the standing end through. If this part in the back wants to get kinks in it, you just kind of pull the kinks out manually, and it'll all work out. And there you go. And again, because we've set that knot, we can go ahead and cut off the tag end fairly short. And this will give you, like I said, that gives you the bigger loop in the back. And again, you could go all the way down to the bottom if you so felt. But it's the first set of wraps that gives you the length of this piece. So that's why we went longer before. You only need 3 or 4 wraps after that to do the egg loop knot. Yes, Scotty, how are you? Scotty is from Fun Fishing Adventures, another fine channel on YouTube. Scotty likes to fish. Well, he does fish out of the southeast-ish area of Missouri. I call it more central east, but I don't care. We look at maps differently. And then again, we're going to double this over. We're going to do a triple surgeon's loop, which is just a surgeon's loop with an extra one more wrap under there. I don't know who D. Joda is, and I'm not sure why you would think that this is a good place to discuss people resting in peace. We're doing fishing here. We don't do politics. We don't do religion. We don't do racism. We don't want to hear about wars and stuff. And yeah, doesn't matter. Don't know who D. Joda is. Don't care. And again, this knot can be as small as you want, because we're just going to hook it onto another one. And we'll give her a good pull. Again, this is River Cat's tackle hook. I feel kind of bad using them because they were sent to me to do testing, but I've done the testing I think I'm going to do. There maybe more comes. So that's why I'm only doing 1 rig with this, and I'm using 2 hooks to do it. That way I've got 3 left because, yeah, I did. After 70 pounds of force on these 12-aught hooks, the bend was so insignificant. And I actually just did what I told you I normally don't do, and that was I went back to its own eye. Sorry, go back. Reverse this back up. Got talking and forgot where my head was. Don't ask, it's not important. So we go through here, wrap the 40-pound loop around the 80-pound loop, and then we come back through the bottom so that it comes and makes this square-looking knot. And I don't know that it makes a difference which way you do that. Haven't tested, and I don't care. How long did I fish for? Well, I'm over 30 years old, and I've technically fished all of my life, but of course there have been hiatuses in between. I grew up on a farm, fished on the farm until we moved off the farm at about age 15 or so. That is a good question. Which place is harder to catch fish, the river or the ocean? If I could catch fish, we would discuss it. I would say the river. For me, anyway. But that's also because, anyway, let me show you the rig here before I run my mouth too much. So, top of it, we have the swivel. We go down to our first snood. That's one of them terms from those nice folks over in England. It's a snood. We go down to our second snood. So that's our 2 hooks. And then down at the bottom, we go down to some 30-pound mono. And that is so we can put our sinker on there. And then the best way I found to do these, because I just tried to do it the wrong way, you take your hooks, you put them together. And the reason you want to do this, especially with these River Cat tackle hooks, is because if you like your blood staying internal, stay away from the points. Just saying. And if you're smart, you open up these baggies before you wrap everything up, because then things slide in easier. So you just slide it all in there. And these bags are not expensive. I think the first time I got either 100 or 200, and then I bought the 1,000 pack because, yeah, I think the 1,000 was like, it might have been $30. I don't really recall. So you do this, and the reason you do this, so you slap it around, shake it up, all that good stuff. Then when it's time to use it, you just pull part of it out and you're like, oh man, what a jumbled mess. And then you just shake a little bit and looky there, folks, what we have is our full rig. And imagine having 5 or 6 of these in one bag. Yeah, I think you see the problem. So this it really helps out, makes getting your rig out easier. And when you're on the water or on the bank or wherever you are, and you're fishing and you break off or you need to tie on a new rig for whatever reason, having them in these bags is just about as good as it gets. Now, I take these and I try to keep them together by type. You know, this is double hook rig 10-aught. So I'll put those in either a quart or gallon Ziploc bag. And because these are nice and there's my hook point. I'm sure glad I'm not cutting myself. But so these bags will give you a fair amount of protection. They're not the end all. Don't get me wrong. So the other thing is I've been playing with the Mortician rigs. Oh, let me go back and talk to people here. Let's see. A footballer. Oh, okay. That's soccer for us Americans. We don't know any better. Catching fish, river or ocean. So I grew up fishing ponds. Then when I was in Texas, I fished lakes, which were reservoirs. So you got obviously water coming in, you got a dam, and you got water going out when they release it. But there's never heavy current. Down here where I fish on the Mississippi, it's at least 6 miles an hour current nonstop because the closest dam is Cairo, Illinois. So if you look at a map, I'm at the bottom of Tennessee, so you have to go above the top of Tennessee to even get to the first dam. And that only blocks the Tennessee River, which, well, actually blocks the Ohio River, which the Tennessee dumps into right before that dam. So you got the Ohio, you got Tennessee, and then they come in and they dump into the Mississippi. Above that, the next dam on the Mississippi is in Alton, Illinois, which is St. Louis area, which is about a 5-hour car ride up 55. Because you needed to know which interstate. Don't ask me why. So we don't have anything that stops the current. It goes. Donate $50 if you shout me out. Well, here's the thing I want to tell you here. You make dance vids. Well, I make dance vids. That is awesome. I am so proud. I'm glad to have you here. Glad to have you. But here's the thing. We both know there is no way in hell that you're going to send me a $50 super chat. We both know that. And all you have to do, see, I'm going to say Gozen, who says, what's your favorite fish? See, you just interact the chat, you're going to hear your name automatically. Now, so rivers and oceans. So the river, like I say, it's fast. I have not found my way around the river yet. I just haven't. You get on the Mississippi and it's daunting because it's just so freaking huge. Now, that's not to say I haven't caught some fish, but I've not caught any monsters out of there. I fished the Tennessee River a few times. Same thing. Skipjack fishing at the dam is fun, but they're not always there. The ocean, I haven't actually fished the Gulf of Mexico / America, whatever you want to call it. We ain't getting into that. That's where I fished, down Pensacola, Florida area, right where Alabama and Florida kind of meet. And there I have decent luck, not catching what I want to catch, but catching something. Hardheads and gap-top sailcats. So, the issue with both is there's such large bodies, for lack of a better word, of water. And the rule of thumb is that 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water. I think it's actually less than 10% of the water. So eliminating water is the hard part for either situation. Fortunately, in Pensacola, I get to fish off a dock in the Intracoastal Waterway. So I have very obvious limitations of where I can fish. I can fish off that dock. Now, I can also go surf fishing and go up and down the beach as much as I want. I could go out on a charter and that kind of stuff, but I haven't done that yet. I do like surf fishing, don't get me wrong. So the Intracoastal, for those who don't know, you've got a barrier island between, or barrier strip of land, whatever it is. And then you've got the Intracoastal. The Intracoastal is a much calmer area. You don't have nearly as big of waves, whole 9 yards, because the barrier island blocks those. Let's see. Use them to fish with. Yeah, well, of course I'm going to use them to fish with, John. But, I got 3 more hanging out here just in case somebody says, hey, Mike, I want you to do this with them. Let's see. I don't fish for salmon, so I can't answer that. Although the egg loop knot is for salmon fishing because you put your little salmon eggs in there. Fishing Hoosier wants me to will donate $1. And hey, Andy, good to see you. If I sing Boats and Hose, I don't know them. I do not know that song. I've never heard it, but boats and hose, boats and hose. No matter where you goes, there's always boats and hose. There you go. And if you didn't like it, don't pay me. I don't care. So we're going to go back and we're going to play with the Mortician's Rig. The Mortician's Rig is an interesting rig. I really like the concept behind it. And I'll show it to you. I do some modifications. So the first of which is I use figure 8 knots instead of just simple overhand knots. And let me slide this one a little further down. So you can see why they call it a figure 8 knot, unless you don't know what an 8 looks like. There you go. So you get one of those, snug it down pretty good. We'll tie another one right above it. And to do that, you just make a loop, you wrap around, and go through. And that gives you the figure 8. Looks like a yin-yang, or I don't care what you call it. Anyway, so you want these to be fairly close to each other. They don't have to be right on top of each other. They can be if you want. So that's our top one. We're going to put a swivel up here. Now we're going to go down, like I say, this ruler was a lot easier when the numbers were actually visible. We'll go down about 10 inches. And so we'll put one knot here, give room for the sinker thingamajiggy. And so once again, figure 8 knot. And this is going to be to the second snood. I love that word. I should probably look up the actual meaning of it because I'm just using it based on how I've seen it used in conversation. There you go. 2 more. Fish and Hoosier wasn't bad. Extra buck, man. I should be singing for a living. And then, so since we don't have the rig set yet, one way or the other, as far as which end's top, which end's bottom, let's see. We'll go with this one. This is the longer of the two. I'll take that to the swivel. And the reason being, because sometimes you need a little extra knot, a little extra space. Oh, so Scotty actually is the one. Hoosier said he'd do it, and Scotty threw me the money. I like that. So, let's see. I do read chat, big boy. I do. I didn't waste my time with the egg loop knot for my salmon eggs. I slide the snell knot down and tighten it up. Yeah, I mean, the no knot snell is fine. Absolutely fine. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate you. And thank you again, Scotty. There is nothing really wrong with the no knot snell until you use heavier line. And people complain that it loosens up. Although you just pull it tight again, and it only loosens up in the bag. It doesn't really loosen up, on your line or anything. And so it's really not that big of a deal. We'll take that, we'll tighten it up. I was trying, but your credit union was blocking it. They probably said, you want to give money to what? Are you sure about those? So again, use a little rig puller here, and then this little guy. And there we go. You may not have seen it, but it did. It snugged down, and it was important that it does snug down. And again, I'm using 3/0 swivels here. So what I'm going to do is, the tag end is actually down here at the bottom of the eye, because that's where the knot is. But it's running back through the swivel. So I'm actually going to cut it short against the top. And that gives me a little extra tag line to play with. A little extra tag in. So if the knot does cinch down a little bit, I've got it there, but it's still tucked up under here, so it's not catching on anything. So, like if you're getting grass and stuff like that. What am I doing, Federal? I am tying rigs for catfishing. Okay, so then we'll go down to the bottom here, and we'll do that surgeon's loop. And again, the purpose here is you only have to go through twice because we don't care about the strength nearly as much, because this is going to eventually go down to your swivel, or your sinker. And if we're going to lose anything on our rig, we want it to be the sinker, right? Your sinker is the most likely thing to get hung on the bottom, in theory, and we'd rather break those off. Okay, so we gave it a good snug tug and all that good stuff. Yeah, I said I gave it a tug. I'm going to hear about that, I'm sure. So there we are, top to bottom, swivel, first set of figure 8 knots, second set of figure 8 knots, then a loop at the bottom, where we're going to use 30-pound mono, because this is the weakest line in the rig. We're using 40-pound for the snoods, 30-pound for the sinker guy, and 80-pound for the main line. So we're going to make a fairly large loop down here at the bottom. And again, just a double surge or regular surge loop up, which is 2 times through, is plenty strong, because this is the sacrificial part of it. So what we're going to do is we want enough space that we can put this through the eye of the sinker, roll it out, and then put the whole sinker through here. And that gives us a little cow hitch knot, which holds the sinker in place. Then we'll do a smaller loop at the top, or we could just tie a tri-lane knot or something to the loop that we created on the main rig, but why bother? So again, this one can be nice and small. Oh, did we have something? Do I want some fish, bald man? Well, I want to catch some fish. I don't necessarily need to keep them. And congratulations on letting me know I'm bald. There are a lot of people out there that would have sat there and gone, I don't know if I should tell him he's bald, because it might make me sound like an asshole. I don't know. Oh, it does. So, I mean, if you came in here to troll, I don't mind that. I love a good troll, but you're going to have to put some effort into it, because you can't put any effort into it. You're wasting my time and boring me. So again, put the 40-pound over the 80-pound, and from whatever side we came, we want to come through the bottom in this case, and rock this through. And there you go. So that's going to go our sinker eventually. I don't put the sinker in these baggies, because you never know what sinker you're going to want. It's based on the waters, and there's no reason to put them in there. So now we start with the snoods, get our 30-pound out of the way, grab our 40-pound. Here we go. And again, the first set I made with the River Cats tackle hooks, these are going to be some Eagle Claw Laser Sharp 8/0s that I had laying around, because I had them laying around. And come up here and do this. Hey, Crypto Billy. Andy, God bless you. Well, once throw hands, you're waiting with your keyboard and lubricant. There you go, baby. So pull out as much or more than you need. We're going to go around 8 times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I like to do the egg loop knot. You don't have to do it. It's up to you. And let's go around 4 more times. And what that does is it just wraps around the standing end of this so that it can't come loose, even though it's really not going to come loose, especially not with 40-pound. And I might have boo-boo. Somehow I let it go around the hook. The loop go around the hook, so you can see I've got an oddity there. So what I'm going to do, because I was going to cut the tag end off anyway, so let me loosen this up a little bit and grab my little puller, and I would just want to get this last loop from around the tag end. And yeah, you don't have this problem if you don't do the egg loop knot. There you go. So now it's going to all set up just like it should. And again, that was just the big loop that I had as I was wrapping. When it cinched up, it went around the hook itself, the bottom of the hook. Okay, so now that it's pulled tight, cut it loose, and so here will be about 6 inches to the eye of the hook. And probably should have done 7, so I'm going to lose about an inch doing this. We're going to go and we're creating a triple surgeon's loop. I call it that because the surgeon's loop is 2 loops and this is 3. I know. I should get a medal for that. Yeah, let's see how long this really is when I'm done. Yep, that takes it down to about 5 inches. So I was right. Should have cut it at 7. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're just wanting this to stand off from the leader. So you take your loop, put it between those 2 figure 8 knots, throw the tip of the hook through there, and then you need to make sure you pull the bottom of that knot, the loop knot through there, and then like so, and it forms a cow hitch. And so some of the things I really like about this, I'm assuming you have enough energy to molest myself after I get done giving him the ditty here. There you go, Andy. I think I said hi, Crypto. If I didn't, hey, Crypto Billy. So one of the things you like about this, so it can go round and round and round and round and round. Yay! So you don't need to swivel anywhere in this connection, although you've got one at the top. And I'll show you where I'm pulling this from so we all understand. So we'll take the first one, grab it at the hook. Okay? We'll try to hold that with one hand. And then here is the swivel that's going to go to your main line. So this is the top of the leader. So when you get a fish, the fish is going to pull like this, right? And you notice you're not slipping. Now, if it were a single overhand knot like is in the normal Mortician's rig, it would slip. But we're also using 80-pound line and 40-pound line. So the original Mortician's rig was designed to be like a pompano rig in the 20-pound class. So it's not like I'm some freaking genius here. I mean, I am, but y'all shouldn't know that. Appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate the thumbs up. Appreciate the super chats. I appreciate a lot of things. Yesterday I went fishing and lost 2 rigs. So replenishing my stash while Ashley is at the gym getting all, I'd say, I better name say getting all pretty. She already pretty. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that creates the egg loop knot. And I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got a little extra thickness down here at the bottom. So let me loosen this up and get those. There we go. Got the quills straightened back out so that you do not want the quills overlapping each other. You want them to all go spiraling down. So it should be flat on the back when you're done. And we pulled it tight, so we just snip the tag in short, or that's the tag in. And then we'll go down here and we'll say, let's start at the 7-inch mark and double it over here. And we'll create our triple surgeon's loop. I don't have a lot of line to work with here. I could have made it shorter. And you know what? I will, because the first one was at 6 inches, which eventually ended up being 5 inches once the knot was tied. So there we go. And just double the line out, then wrap it over itself like you were doing just a simple overhand knot. First knot we all learned when we were kids. Unless that's not the first knot you learned, in which case can't help you. So I've got 2 wraps on there and I've run out of tag end. So I'll tighten it up just a little bit. Actually, I'll let it ride. Go through here. Through the knot. Grab a hold of that tag end. It's almost like crocheting, I tell you. I should have stuck with I'll let it ride. Now I'm just being obstinate. And I think I've let it slip down to 1 while I was trying to get to 3. So here, we'll do it again. 1, 2, 3. Again, you can kind of cheat the knot up a little bit if you want. This doesn't need to be a very large loop, but it's also not going to hurt if it is. I don't know where everybody went. Both of my chats say that Crypto Billy was the last comment. It doesn't show that I've been disconnected, but y'all were talking there for a while and then you just stopped. And it makes me sad. So we'll just set that knot and snippety doodah. So we go back. We got into the second. Oh, there you go, Scotty. See, I do read chat. We got into the second set of figure 8 knots. Put the loop on one side of this, and then take the point on the other side. And go through there. And feed the knot that created that loop through there. And kind of just snug it down a little bit. And there's our cowhitch knot again. Just got done with dinner. Awesome. Well, I appreciate the watching. And if you haven't watched Lance Makugai, you might want to pick him up because he originally, I won't say he originally fished in Hawaii. He used to fish in Hawaii. I don't know if that's where he always fished at till he moved to somewhere up north here. But the Hawaiian people use some interesting techniques. One of the techniques I actually talked about yesterday on my live stream. I haven't done it because Tennessee has a very liberal fishing policy. Like, you can have 100 hooks in the water anytime. You have unlimited amount of poles, except for the 100 hook limit. But we do have a limit of three hooks per line. So what the Hawaiians would do is you would have a sinker at the end of your line. All the rest of it goes up the rod. Nothing else on the line. I mean, maybe a swivel at the end. I don't know. You cast it out because that's how you're going to get the furthest distance. It's just the sinker. You don't have the bait slowing you down, all that fun stuff. And then when you got that in there and you got the line tight, so of course it's at an angle because, water is deeper than land. It's weird how that works. I don't know. It's science. And I don't have a Coast Lock snap to show you, which is kind of odd. Let me look at my box of accoutrements real quick. Yeah, I don't know what to do with them. Anyway, Coast Lock snap. If you know what a snap swivel is, everybody does. Coast Lock is basically the bottom part of that. It's the snap. So you tie a line to the Coast Lock. You've got the snap on one end, right? You tie it to the part that isn't the snappy part. You tie your line and a hook, so you got a leader there. Then you take the snap part, you stick it on line, clip it closed, and let it ride. And of course, it rides down to where the sinker is. Really cool. I think I explained that correctly. I grew up fishing Hawaii. Also fished all over Texas and the whole coast of the Gulf. There you go, Texas, Florida. So he's been around. He's seen a lot of things. And I love learning new techniques. Again, sorry, go back to the Coast Lock. So that's all well and good. Well, if you think you got your bait stolen or something does steal your bait, so pulling it back in, you take a second hook, slap it on there with the Coast Lock snapper, down to the bottom again. And you can just keep doing that. Now, again, you can do that up to 3 times in Tennessee. I did explain. Ooh, listen to that. I'm so bright, my mama calls me son. Anyway, I thought it was very interesting because you've got the sinker down at the bottom that's going to keep the coast lock from being able to slide off the end, right? And if there's a swivel down there, then you got that to stop it too. It all works out. So, again, something I had never heard of. I heard him talking about it, like that's wild. And a lot of fishing is not something that needs to be figured out, right? We've been doing this for millennia as human beings, right? That is not to say that there's not still stuff to learn, there's not still improvements we can make. But we're making small improvements now. That is an interesting method, and I think it's a good improvement. I don't really know. I think I just talked myself into a stupid circle. But we have not perfected the art of fishing. Is kind of where I'm going with that. So, there are new things to be learned. The banjo minnow is not one of them. That's what I was talking about. I said we don't need to, Anyway, you get the idea. And again, we're just tying figure 8 knots here because they don't slip on 80-pound mono the way a simple overhand knot will. Don't ask me how I know. I mean, I know because I have a rig tester that I test stuff on, and I was not happy with how quickly. I mean, because the knot just slid when you put force against it. Again, heavier line or smaller line, you're not going to have as much problem. But there you go. So this one I made too long. What else is new? I am the king of throwing away mono and snipping it off. So with 80-pound leader, if I had the right size crimps, I could use them. I do have 1 millimeter, which I just don't want to use 1 millimeter on 80-pound line. It's more of a 100-pound line kind of size of crimp. But you could use crimps if you don't like tying knots. And crimp, doesn't get you away from the hook knot, but it does get you away from the swivel knot. Hey, Mary. Welcome in. Well, let's see. Now, Lance, I'm going to ask you, and I'm probably going to stick my foot in my mouth because, let's face it, I have tasty feet. When you moved from one area to another, were you surprised at how much different the situations were? What you used in Hawaii doesn't necessarily work in Texas, and what you learn in Texas doesn't necessarily work in Wisconsin. My issue, and I've been quite clear about it, is I just am not used to river fishing. I thought I fished rivers until I fished a river. You know what I mean? I thought, this is part of a river system. Therefore, no. It's so much different. Great to see you, Mary. Mary is the better half of Crappie Man Jigs. And I'm glad you're here, Mary. Hey, Silly Salmon. I'm glad you're here because you reminded me of something that I want to say. I've been wanting to say it in Crappie Man Jigs live streams, but first off, it's not my place to say stuff in there. Not like this. And the other is, it's way too much to type. So, I don't like this. Let's see if I can back this out. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think I pulled it too tight. Anyway. So, Turner, her husband, is the guy that makes Crappie Man Jigs. And he goes live a lot. If you are interested in learning about making jigs, he's a good guy to watch. And there's other people. There's Double Hook Angling. There's Ruben Flores. A whole bunch of people that do jigs. Anyway, I'm backing up here for a second. When you go to Crappie Man Jigs and you look at the price, you're like, what is it, like $3 or $4 a jig? That's ridiculous. $34 a jig? I mean, I can go to Walmart and I can get you the. And yeah, you can. You can go to Walmart and you can get cheap jigs that aren't going to hold up. But when you watch this man tie jigs, so what you're missing out of that. So there's the cost of the hook, there's the cost of the lead, there's the time in casting the lead to make the jig. There's the powder paint that he puts on there. There's the curing. That's all before it gets in the vise when he starts doing all the dressing. And you're like, well, I mean, he's just using a few cents worth of this and a few cents worth of that. And if you look at how long it takes that man to tie a jig, and he knows what he's doing. That vise that he uses, I looked it up. It's a $200 vise. The equipment to pour lead, you're talking $100 for a melting pot. You're talking $60 per mold. The costs go on, and I don't even want to guess what the man makes per hour, but I guarantee it ain't enough. Not for the amount of work he puts into that. And if you wanted to make the same quality jigs at home, and you can, it's going to take you a lot longer because he's been doing it. He's got some skills at it. You can do exactly what he does at home. And if you have nothing but time on your hands, that's great. But the amount of time and cost that you don't see behind the scenes, like I say, that the $200 jig tying vise and all the other stuff, no, it's not a dollar jig from Walmart. It's also going to hold up until you lose it. I can't imagine a scenario where you retire that jig because it got worn out. Anyway, and I apologize if I went off on a little tangent rant, but because I'm cheap. I think everybody knows I'm cheap. I talk about it on a regular basis. I'm an inexpensive kind of guy. I may have some nice equipment, but it's because I got it cheap. So when you look at how much jigs cost, custom jigs like that, you're like, that's a lot of money for a jig, and yeah, it's not inexpensive, but it's also not the low quality stuff you're going to get off of the shelf somewhere. So there's that. The Mississippi is different in Louisiana, Midwest, and up in Wisconsin. Oh yeah. See, Creole is the closest I've got to understanding the situation I've got from the YouTubers I know. Right, Danny Stone is not too far from me. He's a couple hours north of me, and so I mean he deals with the same stuff on the Mississippi River. But man, fishing around Memphis, I don't want to say sucks because that's not nice, but it sucks. We have the Sand Aquifer, which also runs down south through Louisiana. That's where we get our water from. The sand filters all the nonsense out of it, and we've got this gigantic underwater or underground reserve that's been naturally purified. So we don't have reservoirs like California and Texas do, where they had to build reservoirs to hold water for purification for drinking water. The other thing is the bank access to the Mississippi in and around Memphis is severely limited because people own property all the way up. And it's not like in Florida where, the law says, well, you own up to the 20-year mean high water mark, which is a lot of words. Basically, you find the shell line, and that's kind of what the landowner owes up to. Some people will go as far as saying up to the wet part of the sand, but even the wet part of the sand from high tide to low tide is bigger. So it's very interesting how the land they own changes. Let's see, yeah, I've already done that. When the tide comes in and out, it's interesting. But anyway, like I said, in Memphis, it's hard to find areas to bank fish. And then if you do, you got to worry about your shit getting stolen. Yeah, lack of boat ramps is a thing here, but the bigger issue is leaving your truck parked there and praying it's there when you get back. I don't know what to fix, and I went through the wrong end of the eye. I need to do that right. Through the back, like good, like smart little boy. So I'm doing this because I'm still attached to the spool. That way I give myself, I don't know, way I can look at it, get the knot tied before I have to commit to cutting the line and throwing away a bunch of extra line. See, when I lived around the Dallas area, I mean, I had 30 minutes any direction I could get to, let's see, Lavon, Louisville, Lake Ray Hubbard. A little further, I get to Grapevine. Ray Roberts. There were a plethora of options on where to fish. And, all of them had boat ramps, easily accessible. Yeah, I miss it. Probably going to make a trip to the Mississippi. It's 3.5 hours away from you in the east side of Wisconsin. Can drive the west. Yeah, I get it. Let's see. It's about 6-inch. Let's go to 7. So what I'm trying to do here is if I measure before I tie this knot, the knot's going to take about 1 inch off because it's triple surgeon's loop and you're doubling over line and stuff. But I'll end up with about a 6-inch leader to the hook. And there's no magic in that number, right? There's, it's not like if you use 6 inches, you're going to catch fish, and if you use 8 inches, you're not going to, or if you use 2 inches, you're not going. You can actually have one hook after the other on the leader. The problem is the strength of the knots at that point. And I've still got this thing. Still got it tied to the spool. Fix that here real quick. I'm sure I've tightened this up, but if not, now I have. And again, between these two figure 8 knots, we just do this. And Lance, I hope you find this interesting because I'm trying to find a better pompano rig. That was how this all started, was making a better pompano rig. And it kind of morphed into, well, how do you make a better double hook catfish rig? Because frankly, they're very similar. The Kentucky rigs I've seen, the people were using the same T-knot that they use for pompano rigs, and that knot just doesn't, it's not strong. It's sad. It's very sad. You're done pouring weights at about 15 pounds and 1, 2, and 3 ounces. You love the melting pot. That's great, Scotty. I'm glad that you like it. I tried pouring lead years ago, 20 years ago, trying to make slabbing spoons, which basically it's 2-ounce jigging spoon. And they were popular on Lake Texoma for going after stripers. And my problem was that once I got the little the wires in there and stuff, things weren't hot enough that the lead would pour all around it, or maybe it wasn't pure enough. It was definitely one of those many issues. And because of that, most of the times those slabbing spoons just didn't come out right. And yeah, it was an issue with the idiot pouring them, not really the equipment. Oh no. So this is one of the downsides of tying the egg loop knot. Is those last few wraps you can mess up. And then you have to kind of undo the whole thing and start back over. Okay, so and I'm pretty sure Lance is sitting there going, Mike, you're just making this harder than it needs to be. There's no reason to do an egg loop knot here. Just using their knots down the stop. And he's right. I just like talking about the egg loop knot. Let's face it, I love hearing myself talk. And y'all should love it too. Now you make sure you don't have your coils over each other, and then give her a good pull. Scotty was kind enough to use my Amazon link to get that melting pot, which didn't cost him anything extra, but gave me a small commission. And with any luck, that the link to the Amazon store is already in the description of this video. If not, it will be. And there's also a link to PC Fun. Now that PC Fun link. Oh, and this, y'all listen closely. You're going to hear this. Okay. Before I tell you about the PC Fun link, right now they're doing one of their flash sales. I think I don't think it has a full 2 days left on it right now, but it's 2 or less days right now. Last time they did it was Memorial Day, and it's not the same reels this time, but the PC Fun Chaos XS is on there. No, I'm sorry, the XS is not. The Alios 400 is on there for $115, which is a good price for the Alios 400. It usually goes for about $150. Hey, Sunshine, that's Ashley. Say hi, everybody. Okay, so normally it's $150 on their normal sale. They say it's a $200 reel. I've never seen it sell for that, but it does usually sell for around $150. Now, so that's a good deal in and of itself. My link can't help you with that. You just go to their PCFun.com and you scroll down and you'll see the flash sale. Now, what my link will help you with is if you have never purchased from PC Fun, if you've never given them your email address, signed up for account, all that kind of stuff, if you use the link in my description, it gets you $25 off of a $70 purchase, which does stack on these. Most of the other coupon codes don't stack. And when you do that, you get, like I said, $25 off of a $70 or greater purchase, and it gets me that same coupon once you buy something using your coupon. So you get $25 off, and then I get $25 off when I go buy something in the future. And if you don't know anything about those Alios 400 reels, I think the Alios 300 on there too. I think the Alios 300 is on there as well. It is for, let's say, 85 or 89. They're similar. I mean, they're the same family. They're low profile bait casters. They hold more line than your typical bait caster, or low profile bait caster, I should say. The Alios 300 has a flipping switch on it, but does not have a bait clicker. The 400 has a bait clicker, but not the flipping switch, which the flipping switch is not really something you would use if you're using a bait clicker caster. They both have magnetic drag systems, not the centrifugal braking system. The 400, of course, holds more line than the 300. Let's see what else can I tell you. Oh, and the drag is a ridiculous amount of drag. It's carbon fiber drag system. I forget how high the drag is, but it's not weak. It's more than you'll ever need. Let's just put it like that. Hey, fishy things. Let's see. And in case you didn't know, Ashley, you are the bomb. Yeah, I just needed to use that sound effect. I got a little toy in the mail today. Haven't even used them all. One of the sounds is a fart. I don't understand why you would use that during a live stream when you can make your own. But anyway, I wish they had better soundboards out there for cheap, but I want to do something to be funny. add a little humor and spice to things. We're just tying these figure 8 knots. Again, this is a modification of the Mortician's rig, which was created in the saltwater environment. Use a figure 8 knot instead of the simple overhand knot. Once I get those first 2 tied, I can go ahead and go ahead and tie on the main line. It's just easier. You don't have to pull a swivel through all that kind of stuff. So another thing that I really like about the tri-lane knot is you can get some of this line back that I'm using an excessively long tag end. You get around 5-6 times there. Set this up here. Wet your knot down, then when you pull back, depending on which side you pull is kind of how it seats. So there we go. And Crappie Man Jigs just went live doing round 2. He goes. Excuse me. Like I say, he goes live a lot, and you're going to learn something every time you go, whether you want to or not. I will not say that I work from home and I like to have something on during the day when I'm working from home. But if I did, I would certainly spend a lot of time in his lives, because I do. So I tore a piece off of that when I was pulling the knot snug. And let's see here. So try to keep about 10 inches or so between my figure 8 knots. So that's going to be the first of the 2. Give myself a little extra to work with here. And I like to start the inside one first so that I don't have to pull another figure 8 knot through the knot that I'm tying. Because if I started with this one, then I'd have to pull it through when I tied this one. So just things you learn as you go through the process. There we go. You're going to have to go, Scotty, man. I'm going to miss you. I appreciate you being here. Always a good friend. Always a good guy. Keep me company and that kind of stuff. Now, another thing that you can do at the end of these, instead of doing those loops like I do, and actually let me dig through my pile of accoutrements here. Well, that's a size 1. Let's use a size 1. It's amazing how I have stuff on my desk, and then I take it off of my desk to work on something else, and then can't find it. Right there. Excuse me. Go over here to my bin of goodies. There's a bin of goodies. It's like Ben and Jerry's, but it's bin of goodies. There we go. So in this case, size 3 is what I have. I think it's the smallest one I have. I could use a size 5 if I had them, but in any case. So we can go ahead and tie this down at the bottom. And what this does is stuff. Makes it a little cleaner so you don't have all those loop knots down here together. And it also does give you that swiveling action at the bottom in case your sinker wants to roll around and do bad things in the sand or the mud or whatever. So, in any case, stuff out on there. Get a little snip snip. And then we can take our 30 pound. Tie it on. I use trialing knots for this. I don't have to. I could use a approved clinch knot or even a clinch knot because the strength of this is not important. Because again, well, let me go over the beauty of this rig from start to finish once I get started and finished. And we'll just I'll put a surges loop in this because this is going to go to the sinker itself. So I've got 80 pound mono is what the main portion of the leader is made from, going from the swivel down to this bottom swivel that we just tied, right? And we got the loop that goes to the swivel. It's on 30 pound mono. Your swivel is the most likely thing to get hung up on the bottom. At least that's the theory. So if I get my rig stuck on the bottom, I want to lose whatever piece is stuck, whether it be sinker or whether it be one of the hooks. Now the lines for the hooks, I use 40 pound. I could use 40 pound on this one too, because you're only pulling against whatever's stuck, right? So I can use 40 pound for the sinker as well. I don't have to go to 30 pound on that. But so these are 40 pounds going to your hook. So if you get a hook stuck on something other than a fish, you don't want to lose fish. But you catch a log or something, you pull, you break it, you break the 40 pound line, you get back your other hook, the whole leader, and the sinker. Or if the sinker gets stuck, you get back your two hooks. So you're not losing the whole rig every time, because if you use the same 80 pound mono on this and then go to what I would normally use, a 40 pound main line. If your 80 pound leader gets stuck on something and you pull, the 40 pound main line is going to break somewhere. Whether it's at that knot or further up is the big question, right? And there you go. Lance actually just did a no knots no. Because fishing gets expensive. So you want to lose as little as possible. Because like I said, if everything was done with 80 pound mono, when anything gets hung up and you pull, you're breaking your main line, not your leader. Your leader is the one that's got all the expensive stuff on it. So there you go. Neat how that works, right? So we just put our loop on one side of the leader line, run the hook through that loop, pull it through so the knot comes through that loop too, and that just creates a little cow hitch right there. Well, as soon as I get it over that knot, creates a cow hitch right there. So, and honestly, and I've talked about this before, we have a top and a bottom, and you really don't need the top knot on these, because where's it going to pull from? When your fish is on there, he's going to pull towards the bottom one, right? He's never going to try to pull against the sinker and go up, I wouldn't think. So if he does, if he's pulling up against the sinker and he's moving around, at some point you still want to pull him, and then you just want this to stop where it stops. So whether that top knot is needed, I don't think it is. When I think it through in my head, it's not. But my head is a big empty void of stuff. So once again, we're gonna, let me show you. So I've tied this knot this way several times because I keep one end of it still on the spool. But let's go ahead and cut it like most people normally do. So you've got the tag end and you've got the standing end available. So what you do is you put the tag in through the front, and then you hold it down against the shank. And I'm doing the same thing when it's on the spool as you run it from the back up. Anyway, you wrap it around 8 times. Well, you pick a number you like. It can be 8, it can be 10, it can be 30. Probably even get away with 6 or 7 if you needed to. And then you take standing end, which is going to go back to your main line or your leader or whatever. You run it from the back of the hook through the front. And pull on both ends, because that sounds like fun. There you go. Now, if you use the no-knot snell, you want to leave a little bit more of a tag end on it than if you use the egg loop knot, because if you push this through, and it doesn't really, 40-pound mono doesn't have that kind of memory that the 80-pound and 60-pound does, but it can kind of loosen up on there, and people tend to not like that, so that's why I've been using the egg loop knot mostly. It helps you, I guess, consistency more than anything, right? And then I'll tie a triple surgeon's loop, which is just a surgeon's loop with an extra twist in there, because that's going to be a little bit stronger than just the surgeon's loop. Yesterday, Ashley and I went down to the Tennessee River, so I found a guy on Facebook Marketplace that had some toolboxes made for the Titan. Their factory boxes. They're like $1,600-$1,700 from Nissan. This guy had a truck that he bought with them on there. He sold the truck because he needed to get a 3/4 ton truck, and he forgot that he pulled them out of there and ran across them in his attic. And he's like, "Well, I put them on Facebook Marketplace. Put them on there for $150. Nice gentleman. He's actually the one that told us, put it on a map and in Google Maps and sent me the pin and said, because I said, is there anywhere around here to bank fish on Tennessee? And so we went bank fishing yesterday, and it's a nice little area. It's a little beachy area, not sweet sand beach like you would hope normally, but it was beachy. There's a sand, rocks. Oh, stabbed myself. I think say, best if you just grab hold of the hooks. I think so. And then just wrap them around your hand, like so. I am having a rough time with this. Okay, there we go. Wrap it around. And yeah, you're going to have some loose ends and stuff, and who cares, because it's all going in a little baggie. But we had some teenagers that came down, and I think the first couple of them were actually in a car, and we pulled up right after they did, but their car couldn't make it to the beach where the truck could. So I just kind of pulled up an area, and they came up literally right behind where my truck was, and took their little girl in to start swimming there with Mama. And I'm like, y'all see me here with rods and stuff. You know I'm going to be fishing. This is kind of stupid. I mean, I didn't say any of that, but whatever. So I got a little further down towards the one end of this little opening of the beach. He's like, man, I'm about to leave. You can have my spot. So I pulled up there, pulled further away from these people. And I will be doggone if they didn't just move down. Ended up having some friends come over, and they sat up like literally 5 feet in front of my pickup. And I wanted to go explain to them why they shouldn't breathe. And they were playing music, but thank goodness they weren't playing it too loud. And I mean, it's a shared area, right? I understand that. But we had this, Ashley and I had this, we went down to, the first time we went surf fishing, I hired a surf fishing guide. And in fairness, we were the first people basically at the beach that day. And the public access, you get very narrow areas of public access. You have a little parking lot, and then, not much because people have bought all the land around it. So it's public access. So we go through there, and he pretty much just went straight from the public access straight to the beach. Plenty of beach every which direction. So we're set up there, we're fishing. And then, the swimmers and stuff start coming up. And had a family with little kids swimming literally right next to his beach cart. Well, okay, 5 feet away from his beach cart. Absolute. Nikki the dirty tranny. I mean, I haven't named my transmission, but if you want to name yours Nikki, then I guess that's up to you. Because surely you're not just, coming in here trying to troll with a name like that, because that just sounds, what's the word I'm thinking of? Stupid as, what? Yeah. I mean, you do you. Whatever makes you happy. I ain't here to yuck your yum, but no need to be negative, because I can't imagine that's anything but negative. You're trying to rage bait somebody, I don't know. Maybe get a life, go see a therapist, I don't know. Step out of the line and you'll be gone faster than you can even imagine. Because as they said years and years and decades ago on In Living Color, homie, don't play that. No politics, no religion, no race. I don't know, Ashley. I don't know where you are. We can go fishing, or I can sit here and run my pie hole. I don't know where you're at. So, she and I had talked about possibly going down the Mississippi River banks tonight in the dark, fishing in the night. But I think we all kind of got a late start, and I don't want to get set up after dark. Leaving the gym. Yeah, so it's 8 o'clock now. I don't know that we're going to make it, because when you get home, you're going to need to get a shower, and then I don't want to set up in the dark, if that makes any sense. I don't know. We'll figure it out when you get home. Or get here. Let's see. Run this down 10 inches or so. Give myself some more leeway. There we go. And please don't misunderstand me, folks. If you want to troll, feel free. Just be good at it. Put some effort into it. Don't do stupid shit like, do you want to, touch the camera for a Lamar Jackson edit? That's just stupid. Nobody wants the Lamar Jackson edit. Up until people started doing the Lamar Jackson, posting that crap, I didn't even know who Lamar Jackson was. And to be honest with you, still don't. I think he's a football player, but I keep seeing basketball clips when I searched on TikTok, because I knew that had to be some kind of stupid TikTok nonsense. I liked it better when y'all were just eating Tide Pods. But anyway. The things that qualify as challenges now are scary. Yeah, I mean, if you can come up with something funny and trolly, I'm all for it. But stupid usernames where you're trying to get somebody, or hey, can you say happy birthday to my cousin, and then try to get the host to say something sexual because that's your name, like Mike Hunt or stuff like that. This ain't The Simpsons, people. This ain't from when The Simpsons was created, which was literally when I was in college. I mean, put some damn effort into it. You make trolls, you give trolls a bad name. And I'm a big fan of trolling. Pretty damn good at it, some might say. But don't discredit the craft. It'd be like, a magician doing the pull my nose or pull my finger trick, right? Or I got your nose trick. Yeah. Not funny. Not for, that's juvenile level stuff. You can do better. I know you can do better. Apply yourself. If you can't do better, maybe get off the internet until you are smarter. Well, see, I don't. Again, I find trolling as a way to engage people, as a way to, it's a way to be friendly. It can be, right? Just kind of, I try to add humor to places, and it doesn't always work, but at least I put some effort into it. Although Cindy got caught by one of them, which I thought was funny. Mostly because she didn't realize she'd gotten hit with it. I was like, okay, sound it out. Ah, those are the funny ones. But that again, that doesn't get with Mike Hunt or any of that kind of stuff. It wasn't the absolute obvious nonsense. And if you didn't come up with it yourself, don't use it. Be original. Nobody likes a copycat. If you just, some people are not witty, and it's okay. If you ain't witty, just don't embarrass yourself by using something tired and old. Like Mike Oxmall. That was funny when I saw it in the movie. That was it's not funny 10 years later. It's not new. It's not, yeah. Anyway. Just an old man yelling at trees at this point. So I'm tying up more of these mortician style rigs because I think there may be something here. Like I said, needed some fixing. Be useful for me, but I like new rigs. Well, now I leaned over. Happy freaking birthday to you. I knew a woman named Eileen once. She only had one leg. And where she went, she leaned. But see, I leaned over is not sexual. It's not, I like that. See, that is good quality, good natured, not trying to offend people kind of thing. I don't have a problem with that. Did you tell Eileen to come on? Come on, Eileen Telluride. Come on, Eileen Telluride. Yeah. And yes, I'm one of those people who had to look up. Telluride is apparently Scottish or Irish or something. It's one of those fill-in kind of phrases. Which, once you think about it, it's kind of cool that Dexys Midnight Runners put that in one of their songs, that, some of their own culture. You listen to it in the gym. There you go. And guys, if you don't have yourself a good woman like Ashley, get your own. You can't have her. She's already taken. At least that's what I keep telling her. It's good to have a good woman. It really is. You don't appreciate a good woman until you've had one that is not so great. Kind of like how, you thought my mom's Ford Escort was a really cool car. Well, not cool, but it was much nicer than what I drove. Until you drive, a Mustang. And you're like, oh, well, yeah. So yeah, I just compared my girlfriend to a car. And she's not a Mustang. She's a... what kind of car can I call her and not get the shit beat out of me? She's whatever your dream car is, folks. That's what she is. And my dream car used to be a 69 Camaro, and it may still be, but the 69 Chevelle was also a really nice car. And interestingly enough, what made these my dream vehicles was kids at high school had these that were, at various stages of having been whatever you do to cars, renewed or revitalized or the word I'm looking for, restored. There we go. My town had a buttload buttload, like 5 69 Camaros, Rally Sports, Super Sports. There was a Z28. Those were just cool cars. Back when Detroit, made muscle cars that anybody could work on. Before those pesky regulations of, emissions and stuff. Restored, yes, that's the word. But I'll tell you a story, because everybody loves story time. And it's been over 10 years ago, but one of the local antiques guy, he wasn't a dealer. Well, I guess maybe he was, I don't know. But it was mostly stuff he had in his house. He was just a collector. He passed away, and the auction company came to sell off a bunch of stuff, and there was some other stuff that was put in the auction because this man was popular locally, and so they just kind of stuck some stuff that wasn't his in the auction, trying to, I'll say, benefit from his death, but whatever. One of them was a tribute car. It was I think it was a 70 Malibu that they turned into a tribute car as a Chevelle. Change the badges and stuff like that. Well, if you didn't grow up back in the 70s, you will not appreciate this. But I got in that car and I checked it out because I thought, this is kind of cool. I don't know what to go for. But oh my Lord, went to close the door. If you've ever closed the door on a 70s model car, they heavy. They didn't align. They actually had adjustments, screws or bolts, I forget, in the hinges because the doors would sag. And this one had sagged some. I think it was past its adjustment point. And just closing it, and the clunk and the lack of good seal on the door and the whole 9 yards. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes the good old days ain't as good as we remembered them being. Crank windows, which was normal. That was not a poor person thing. That's how it was. They didn't really come out with electric much unless it was luxury cars. And, manual door locks and all that kind of stuff. And you can say they don't make them like they used to, and they don't. But I would love to have the simplicity under the hood that they had back then, with the more aluminum and less steel, and the crumple zones and the safety features and all that we've gotten over these years. And, something as simple as a backup cam. Had an 89 Camaro RS. Yeah, I didn't even like the 70 models when they came out, compared to the 69. The 69 it had them going on. I don't know why, but it did. And I mean, you can get the 70 with the split bumper. That is a well revered vehicle and highly wanted because of the split bumper and stuff. But man, that 67 through 69, and 69 was the pinnacle of them, in my opinion. Yeah. Now, see, you had one that was like new when I was in high school, or just after high school. Yeah. I always hated it when I was a kid. You'd see the old, what I consider old men, my age now, driving these sports cars, and I'm like, those old people don't know what to do with these sports cars. They don't know how to blah, blah, blah. And then as I gotten older, I realized the reason they have those sports cars is because they can afford them. Because my broke high school self couldn't. You see them out there in those Corvettes and stuff. And you're like, oh man, how you even get into that thing? Yeah, I was a whippersnapper. Back before they had all those smog canisters and stuff like that, which is now child's play compared to what they got on some of the stuff. Boy, those rear backup cameras. That's one of those things that once I had a car with a backup camera, like never again. Oh yeah, the 69s were, 350 turbo trans. I mean, I think they may have had some that came out with a 396 or a 454, but the 350 was by far the more popular of them. Yeah, if you didn't have at least a 350 under the hood in my high school, you was driving a junker. Now that or a 350, you can get away with a 302 in the Ford products, the older Mustangs. But even 327, like I had a 307, 305s and 307s nobody cared about. They just, which is weird because a 307, a 327, a 350, and I think, now 396 was a big block, wasn't it? There was a 400 small block that was in some cars. Those effectively were the same block. They had different pistons, bore, and stroke, and that kind of stuff, but they were, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. My mother drove, I want to say it was a 76 two-door Malibu back in the 70s. And me and my brother both, decades later, were like, man, I wish we still had the car. Back then, it was nothing. It was. I mean, that was what Mom drove. It was poop brown. There was nothing exciting about that car. Probably because my mom drove it. But yeah, you look back like that wasn't such a VW Beetle. Well, hey Ashley, you hear that? Slug bug. Yeah. One of the cutest commercials it was a billboard actually, that I saw when they came out with the Beetle again. It said 0 to 60 an mark, and then yes. It was like, we understand that we are not a speed demon and we are not designed to be, but I loved how everybody's doing this speed test on how fast 0 to 60, and they're like 0 to 60, yes. Yeah, see, I had what year was my Beetle? 70? Yeah, I think I had a 1970 Beetle. Now, you have to understand, I grew up poor. So my 1970 Beetle was, the floor had rotted out, and the previous owner had used 1-inch pine boards as the floorboard. And if you've ever seen the old Walking Tall movies, the original ones with Bo Svensson in them, there was a jump over railroad tracks scene, and that was railroad tracks in my hometown. Even though Buford was from McNairy County, the bulk of it, if not all of the film, was done in a neighboring county. So, I mean, and those railroad tracks were in town. And I don't know what I've done with this knot, but I've messed it up. So I'm going to back out of it. Redo it. I went over those railroad tracks regularly. And I always wanted to get airborne. I think all I ever did was let pressure off the suspension. But my big fear was going over it in that VW Bug and landing and my butt being on the pavement. And at age 17 or whatever, when I had that, I did not fully comprehend how much damage that would have truly done to me. Because I'm thinking, it lands, I fall, I'm sitting on the pavement, and the car stops too. That car wasn't going to stop. That car was going to keep going. I might have been a dead boy. Needless to say, I was a little timid about it. But one thing I loved about the Volkswagen, I went to one of my teacher's houses when I think school was closed that day. It wasn't nothing like that. Don't think it was that kind of fun thing. I went over to pick something up or something, and I pulled over too close to the curb where all the snow and ice was. So I got out and I yanked the bumper to pull it back out into the middle of the street. Well, out, not middle, but out enough that I could get some traction. And on a standard four-way intersection, or standard intersection where you got, a two-lane and two-lane meet, nothing exciting, you could do a donut in the middle of it in a Volkswagen and not have to worry about ever hitting a curb. It was fun. Hey, Kano. Hey, LPS Cupcake. Hey, Marcus. Your beat will be driving. There you go. Oh, good to have you in here, Lance. Appreciate you being here. 5.5 pound bass. That is incredible. That had to have been just a fantastic experience. They, back when I bass fished, I caught a 5 pounder one time. Had my then wife and my 1-year-old daughter in the boat with me, and I've caught a bigger bass since then, but I didn't weigh it because I didn't want to lose my PB of being when my daughter was with me. Now, if it was, over 10 pounds, then that would have been a different story. This was probably 6.5 pounder. Anyway, so my 5 pounder. The biggest fear when you're fighting a bass is that sucker coming off. You don't really have that with catfish as much. Catfish, you're using circle hooks, you're hooking them in the corner of the mouth, and for the most part, you can lose catfish, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, once you got them buttoned up, once there's been some buttoning done, it's staying. Your tackle may break or whatever. Bass, man, those things come off quick and easy, kind of like skipjacks. You hook into a skipjack. Skipjacks are worse, way worse. You can hook it to a skipjack and go, oh, I'm going to have bait. And you're like, that sucker's off before you can even say, I'm hooked up. Those things flip, flop, and everything. They are, telling you, somebody should have decided to have a skipjack league. And they're only easy to catch when they're up at the dams, but when they are so fun to catch. Like getting into a school of white bass. And those beetles are starting to become very. There's fewer of them. Yeah, there for a while you could play slug bug, and end up beating people up in a 5-minute drive because they kind of were everywhere, and I think. The bringing back of the beetle is one of the best comebacks ever. And I've got a friend from high school, and he even remembered me saying this. I said back in '89 that they should come out with a 20-year anniversary for the '89 Camaro and make it look just as much as they possibly could. And they would have had just a huge seller because Everybody that had a 69 Camaro wanted one. People like me who had never had one and still wanted one, you could get the new version with updates, the safety enhancements and all that kind of stuff. And when they finally came out with the Camaro again, I don't remember if they ever stopped making it or not. I don't think they actually did stop making it, but they came out with, maybe it was in 99, I don't remember what year it was, but when they came out with one that really called back the 69, it wasn't as much as I'd like. I mean, I really wanted to go back to, looking identical. They came really close. You caught a 20-pound bass. Well, a 20-pound bass would have been nice. 10-pound bass is a lot more logical. Although, let me tell you, 10-pound bass are not. Those are fish of a lifetime. I hate to break the news to anybody, but a 10-pound bass is a fish of a lifetime. I've not caught one yet. I don't bass fish anymore, but that doesn't change the fact that if I caught a 10-pound bass, I would be a happy little monkey. And another reason I don't count that bigger one, I was catfishing. I was using cut bait on a set rig. I wasn't even monitoring my lines. It was at the gathering last year. A gathering is a gathering. It's a 2 or 3 day event out in East Tennessee. One of the guys from the catfish community puts it on. It's out at a park out there, and it's a time of hanging out with other catfishermen and talking about stuff, and nobody's really selling stuff. Unlike like the Catfish Conference is all about selling stuff. You get to hang out, but there's a bunch of people selling stuff. And we were actually doing lunch, and I just had some rods out, and I had left them, and Ashley won a rod. And I think I had a reel in the car, but the line and stuff, I think I had the spool of line over there with all my other fishing equipment. So I went over there, and I hear one of them going off and drag, so I pull it in, and it's a big bass, nice bass. Nice, I mean, it's like I say 6, maybe 7. I didn't weigh it, didn't matter. Hey, LPS Cupcake Sprinkles, appreciate you subbing. Glad to have you in here. But I mean, even when those, when the Beetles came out again, I remember when they came out with the first batch of them after they had gotten rid of them. But yeah, there was some nostalgia there. It didn't fit my lifestyle at the time, but I was sitting there going, yeah, I kind of miss my old bug. And mine was a junker. I mean, it really was. Check, see if that's Ashley. Nope. You know what I hate about you people? And by this, I'm talking about all the other folks in the catfish community. I figured that this morning, everybody and their mother would be live. And I'm telling you, nobody was live today. Yeah, you are beautiful. Oh, here, home here? I can't see outside. It looks like is it dark yet? I don't know. Nobody was live. And so I decided I was going to go live. And as I'm getting set up, I see Turner went live with Crappie Man Jigs. I'm like, gosh, dog it, Turner. Kind of the only reason I went live is because nobody was, and by that point I'd already decided I was going, so one stopping. And now everybody's out there fishing right now. If you need people to go watch, other than me, Danny Stone is out there. I don't know if he's live or not. It says rolling on the river. That may be a short. I don't know. Catfish Regulators is out there with Big Mike. Catfish with Us is out there catfishing. Crappie Man Jigs is or was live making jigs. Bank Fishing Adventures is out there. Looks like Born Fisherman did a short, and Chaos Goat. I don't know if that's a live stream or not. Chasing big bass in northern pike, and that's just in the last hour or so. Let's say, and I get it. It's hot out there. That's why I wasn't live earlier today. Trying to get enough pressure on this, it'll set that knot. Well then. Maybe it's set. Better be. Your dad owns tapas. As in like a small plate. I don't know who introduced tapas to restaurants around here. I wish they wouldn't have, because now everything is tapas. I don't want a small plate of anything, people. I want a plate of food. What's wrong with you people? And I hate that we're using new words for things that always existed. I saw one of the Catfish rod about their rods and said their rod slaps. I'm like, I hate that word. Mostly because it's so overused. This restaurant slaps, that thing slaps, everything slaps. I'm like, there's a lot of abuse going on in this world. Everything slaps each other. Like, why can't you just say it's really good or awesome or amazing or the best or the greatest or the worst or why does it have to slap? So much violence out there, people. So much violence. Of course, I was young once and thought using silly phrases was cool. Like cool. Word. That was the dumbest one. Word. Word meant damn near anything. Hey, man, look at the sky out there. Word. Man, I went to the Word. Oh, it was one of those, Word was one of those things that they used it. It could take the form of pretty much any part of speech. Word. It could mean you're happy. It could mean you're sad. It could mean I agree with you, or that's messed up, or just, anyway. Yin, old man yelling at clouds. Problem is, clouds didn't really do anything. One thing I am noticing is a lack of fireworks tonight, which to me doesn't make any sense. Okay, so they're illegal in my municipality anyway, unless they're like, kiddie sparklers and stuff, which nobody is shooting those off because they're kiddie sparklers and stuff. Last night, there was a haze over the entire city. Big smoky haze from all the fireworks set off. And to me, fireworks, and don't take relationship advice from me, folks, it'll get you in trouble. But see, I'm one of those people that's like, oh, well, here, let me make you an Easter basket the day after Easter when everything's half price, because it just makes sense. It's the same stuff. It's half price, or 75% off, or whatever, right? Well, fireworks is the same way. People like after the 4th or whatever holiday you're using to shoot them off, they get cheap. So now would be, if I were going to be shooting them off, now would be when I would be doing it. I'd be going, I went out and I spent my money on fireworks, and now is, now the whole world's going to hear about it. And what I don't understand, now, again, this is old man logic, so don't think I don't realize this. When I was a kid, of course, I lived on a farm. There were no fireworks If you wanted fireworks, you set them off yourself. Oh. And, there really weren't any big fireworks displays, but my city does, my municipality, and all the municipalities around here, all of them do a big, gigantic, professional fireworks show. I mean, thousands upon thousands of dollars spent on these fireworks. And they have pyrotechnics experts and all this. They do the real thing. And we went out with some friends over to the house, friends last night, and we missed most of their fireworks display, but they had a few left over. But, we saw other neighbors of theirs shooting off fireworks. And the problem is the trees. You can't really see what the other people are shooting off. You can see parts of it, but not all of it. And the amount of money that's spent on fireworks, when you can go see a truly professionally done show, and I understand now, if you get kids, I get it, it's fun. You want to see your kids have fun setting them off, and watching your kids enjoy them. I get that. I'm not stupid. I am stupid, but that's a different issue for a different day. But I don't know how much some of these people have spent on fireworks, because I mean they're. It's not like when I was a kid when you got 12 for $1 or $12 bundle. I don't even remember how much they were. Bottle rockets that just went, whoop, pop, phew, pop. Very anemic. These people are shooting off shells and stuff. More power to them. I mean, unless you have a dog and your dog hates fireworks and whatever, because those people are annoying. Oh, you can't sell fireworks because of my dog. My dog. Oh, my dog. I do wish the local police department would actually enforce the laws that are on the books. If you're going to say that fireworks are illegal, then do something about them, right? But I'm telling you, you couldn't find a police officer last night. And they sure were not patrolling neighborhoods looking for violations of the fireworks ordinance. Whether or not there should be a fireworks ordinance, I'm not arguing. Not arguing that point. No reason to. I mean, I get there's a safety concern of, fires could be started and stuff like that, but whatever. And it was like every third house was shooting off fireworks. America. Oh, there went one. Heard it in the background. It wouldn't be so bad if there were, a limit on when you could do it. Like, have the people to do it on the 4th. I understand the cheap people that want to do them on the 5th. But heck, our city even did them on the 3rd. The city, the official fireworks for the city was on the 3rd. I'm like, that's just stupid. Who celebrates the 4th of July on the 3rd? The 4th of July, I mean, it's in the name. It's not like you could get the date wrong because, I didn't realize it was, it's actually in the name of the day, the 4th of July. I mean, yeah, it's Independence Day, but everybody calls it 4th of July. Like, how did y'all mess this up? But I think it may not be totally stupid. I mean, it could have been one of those things where they're going, well, most people set them off on the 4th. So here you can see ours on the 3rd and go see somebody else's on the 4th. But I always kind of considered that, if the local government is setting these off, it's kind of for the people that live in that area. And, so you set them, everybody does them kind of the same night. And it's for your taxpayers who ultimately have been the one that paid for this, not, people from other areas coming in. I also wish there was some big piece of land, whether it's park or whatever, and just say, look, y'all want to set off your own fireworks? Since since we set up a law that says you can't shoot them off in the city limits, but you're going to do it anyway, bring your crap over here, do it in a controlled environment. We'll have a fire truck there, and you sign up, you go set yours off, you do your thing. Next person comes, sets theirs off, and everybody can watch. It's all in one area. Because, growing up on a farm, I never had to worry about that. You just went out in one of the fields. But so make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for any more old man whiny episodes so you can hear them all. Hate for any of you guys to miss any of them. And I'm out of baggies again. Hate it when that happens. And I'm out of them. We got well over 1,000 sitting over there. I think I'll make this the final rig for the night, folks. Ashley is here. Should probably spend time with her. Might even go fishing anyway. I don't know. She and I'll figure something out. Might go watch a band. Problem is that we usually go out on weekends and watch bands. Last night, the local place that we go, because I like staying local, especially if there's going to be any alcohol involved. Not that I drive drunk, don't believe in it, but the less you can drive while you have alcohol in your system, the better off everybody's going to be. Well, last night they decided, and I know why, because they knew it was going to be, people were going to be out at the fireworks show. They did karaoke, which the word for the day is karaoke. If you don't know what it means, it actually is Japanese. It's a Japanese word. It means tone deaf and bad at music. And then tonight they're having a young band. They're not bad. They don't play that much. But I think it was one of those things where the owner's like, people are going to be out of town. They're going to be doing this. And we're going to spend a lot of money on entertainment this weekend. So I don't know what we're going to do. I do know I've got an amazing, amazing fiance, greatest in the world. At least the greatest I know. We should probably have a round of applause for Ashley. She deserves it. She does. You know what? Let's play around with this little thing. So there's laughter. There's sound box off Amazon. You can't stop it once it starts. And you can't push two, one after another. They don't stack. There's a sad face, and you got the thumbs down, and then you got the bomb. Supposed to be a shotgun. They show a picture of glass breaking, but that sounds more like a waiter dropped the entire tray. Well, that's cash register, but they used some other currency. Drum roll. This one just has cheap music notes. There you go. This should be a spring boing. Very good. Light bulb. Okay. Whistle. That works for Ashley too. This one, I don't know what this is. It looks like a ghost scary face with the mouth wide open. There's a scream. This one we'll all appreciate. Have to have a fart button on it. I didn't. This last one, I don't know what it is. It looks like a face screaming, but we just did a scream. Maybe it's not a scared scream. It's a different scream. Nope, it's a burp. I mean, it was next to the fart button. What did I expect, right? Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you guys on the next time. Check out the link in the description. There's a link to my Amazon store. If you buy something from Amazon after clicking that link, doesn't have to be anything in my store. Then I get a small commission. You don't pay a different price at all. It helps me out. Doesn't hurt you in the least. There is a link for PC Fun. PC Fun makes rods and reels, and I think they also make some line, fishing stuff. But I really like their Chaos Pro, which is out of stock right now. The Chaos XS is a lower priced round bait caster. It's around $50 or so after discounts. And the Alios 300 and 400, I like those. The Alios 300 has kind of fallen out of favor. See if I have any of those reels here. Oh, look. There's the Chaos XS50 right there. Just because it's not currently on a rod. We've got another Chaos XS50 in there. That's it. The Alios 300 doesn't have quite the same line capacity as the 400, but they're both low profile bait casters, which is what I like. The 400 has a bait clicker, 300 does not. It does have a flip and switch on it in case you want that. But more importantly, if you've never signed up on their website before, if you click the link in my description and buy something over $70, you get $25 off coupon. Put in your email address, gives you a $25 off coupon, off of $70 or more. And if you buy something off of that coupon, then I get a $25 off coupon too. Yay me. Again, doesn't cost you any more. They are having right now. If you go to pcfun.com, or well, click my link because of course that makes me happy. But if you go to their main page and you scroll down, you'll see a flash sale, and they do have the Chaos. I'm not sorry, not the Chaos. The Alios 300 and 400. The 400 is like $115. The 300 is $85 or $89. I forget. They also have the Carbon X and the Carbon 2X, I think, if you like spinning reels. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you guys on the next one. See you then.